Ever wondered what gets netball fans on their feet cheering wildly? Well, in just minutes, you'll uncover the secrets behind netball's thrilling scoring system. Welcome to This Explainer. Whether you're stepping onto the court for the very first time or you're a spectator who just wants to finally understand why the umpire blew the whistle, you are in the exact right place. Netball is this incredibly dynamic, globally loved sport, and understanding exactly how points get put on the board, that is the ultimate key to unlocking the true beauty of the game. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's the game plan for our journey today. We are going to start with an overview of the basic rules, cover the specific scoring positions, get into some practical tips, highlight those common beginner mistakes to avoid, and finally, look at some really cool advanced scoring techniques. Section 1. Overview of netball rules and basics. At its absolute core, netball is a fiercely competitive ball sport played between two teams of 7, and the objective is actually wonderfully simple: pass the ball down the court and score more goals than the opposition before the 60-minute clock runs out. But to understand how that happens, we really have to look at the target itself. A netball goal means shooting the ball above and completely through a 3.5-meter high raised ring. Now, if you're a basketball fan, you need to literally erase the backboard from your mind. There is no glass to bank the ball off of here. It is literally just a 380mm steel ring sitting on a vertical post. So the required precision for a successful shot is just incredibly high. You need pure, unassisted accuracy. And all of this action happens on a very specific stage. A standard netball court is 30.5 meters long by 15.25 meters wide. Notice how it's strictly divided into 3 equal sections, or thirds. We've got a center third and 2 goal thirds at each end. But the real magic happens inside that 4.9-meter radius semicircle you see at each end. That is the goal circle. All of your scoring shots absolutely must be taken from within this specific boundary. Section 2. The goal scoring positions. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most unique things about netball: the rigid architecture of the game. Every single player wears a bib with letters on it, and those letters dictate your entire existence on the court. You are severely restricted in where you can go. If you so much as place a toe in a zone you aren't assigned to, whistle blows, you're offside, and it's an immediate turnover. Which leads us to one of the biggest misconceptions beginners have. Unlike soccer or basketball, where a defender can suddenly make a breakaway run and score the winning point, in netball, out of the 7 players on your team, only 2 are legally allowed to score a goal. If absolutely anyone else throws the ball through the hoop, no matter how amazing the shot is, it doesn't count and your team loses possession. No way around it. So who are these 2 crucial players? First up, you have your goal shooter, or GS. They are your team's primary offensive weapon, restricted entirely to the attacking third and the goal circle. Their whole job is to hold space right up under the post and sink those high-percentage shots. On the other hand, you have your goal attack, or GA. The goal attack is kind of your dynamic playmaker. They're permitted in both the center third and the attacking third, so they act as this vital link to bring the ball down the court before stepping into the circle to either feed the goal shooter or step up and take a shot themselves. Section 3. Practical scoring tips and rules. If there is one single number you must burn into your memory today, it's 3. In netball, the exact second you catch that ball, a silent timer starts ticking in the umpire's head. You have exactly 3 seconds to either pass the ball or shoot for a goal. This creates massive urgency, and it completely dictates the incredibly fast, dynamic pace of the sport. You can't just hold the ball and survey the court all day. It's catch, look, execute. And while you're racing that 3-second clock, you're juggling a handful of key constraints. First off, absolutely no running or dribbling. Once you land, your first grounded foot becomes your pivot foot. You can step around with your other foot, but that pivot foot must stay grounded until the ball leaves your hands. It's crucial. Meanwhile, your defenders are obviously trying to block you, but they must remain exactly 0.9 meters or 3 feet away from your landed foot. And finally, netball is strictly a non-contact sport. You cannot bump, push, or deliberately interfere with an opponent's body. So a vital piece of the puzzle is understanding what happens when those rules get broken inside the goal circle. If the defense commits a minor infringement, like an offside, you get a free pass. But what's the catch? Well, even if you are the goal shooter standing right next to the post, you cannot shoot directly from a free pass. You actually have to pass it to a teammate first. But If a defender commits a major infringement, like making physical contact or standing too close, you get awarded a penalty pass. This is huge. The defender is forced to stand entirely out of play, and you can either pass or take a glorious uncontested shot on goal. Section 4. Common mistakes to avoid. So let's talk about where beginners usually trip up. The absolute most common error is stepping. You catch the ball, try to rebalance yourself, and accidentally reground your landing foot. Boom, turnover. Next is offside, getting a little too eager and letting your foot slip over a line into a zone you aren't assigned to. Then there's crowding. This is a tactical mistake, where both the goal attack and goal shooter lead into the exact same space in the circle. You're effectively bringing two defenders with you and ruining the shot opportunity. Teamwork and spacing are absolutely everything here. And defensively, remember, you cannot use intimidation. Defenders can't shout at the shooter or wildly wave their hands in their face just to distract them. You've got to keep it clean and disciplined. Now, when you do put all those pieces together and get it right, you want to look at the umpires. When that ball drops beautifully through the ring, the umpire will signal with their arm, often pointing back to the center circle, to officially confirm the point and indicate the play will restart with a center pass. Honestly, it's the most satisfying sight on the court. Section 5. Advanced Scoring Techniques. Enter the super shot. In major professional leagues like Australia's Suncorp Super Netball and, starting in 2025, the UK's Netball Super League, standard one-point scoring gets completely turned on its head. During the final 5 minutes of every quarter, which is a thrilling period dubbed the Power 5, a 1.9-meter outer zone in the goal circle is activated. If your goal attack or goal shooter sinks a shot from this outer edge, it is worth 2 goals instead of 1. It's a total game changer. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this single rule drastically shifts the momentum of an entire game. As championship-winning coach Mel Clark points out, the super shot forces teams to totally rethink their game management. Do you take that high-risk, long-range shot to quickly close a point gap, or do you stick to the safe, high-percentage one-point layups under the post? It absolutely rewards confidence, composure, and execution under immense pressure. And let's see how this concept builds even further in the Fast 5 variation of netball. Fast 5 is essentially netball on fast forward. It uses only 5 players per team, and the scoring system is wildly dynamic. Check this out. A shot from the inner circle is 1 point. A shot from the outer circle is 2 points. But they also have a zone entirely outside the goal circle where you can sink massive 3-point bombs. It creates this spectacularly entertaining, high-scoring environment that really pushes shooters to their absolute limits. But, whether you're playing a traditional grassroots match or you're out there hunting a 2-point super shot in an elite arena, this practical truth remains constant. Rebounding and dynamic circle rotation are your ultimate keys. The very moment a shot goes up, the non-shooting attacker must immediately move to box out the defender and secure that rebound. When you combine that with smooth, coordinated rotational movement between your goal shooter and goal attack, that is what will consistently create those high-percentage scoring opportunities and ultimately win you the game. So I'll leave you with this scenario to ponder. If your team was down by 3 points in the absolute final minute of a super netball game, would you risk everything on a low-percentage 2-point super shot, or would you play it safe, feed the post, and take the guaranteed singles? It's all about risk versus reward. Well, we hope this explainer has illuminated the incredible strategy behind netball's scoring system. Remember, while we've covered the core mechanics today, individual practice and experience are where the real learning happens. We highly encourage you to consult official World Netball resources or seek out professional coaching for personalized guidance as you step onto the court. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth explainers, tutorials, and deep dives into the sports you love. Keep practicing, stay out of the offside zones, and we'll see you next time.